Tiffany wears many hats like we all do in adult education. She's been at Region 9 ESC for 11 years. She's the Distance Learning Lead Specialist, Tech Integration Coach, PD Coordinator, and Instructor when needed in GED, ESL, and Citizenship. She loves developing curriculum, foldables, researching genealogy, and she recently became an empty nester. She now has 2 children in college. Her son is a senior at Rice University, and her daughter just started University of Texas at Arlington. So now she has conversations with her cat, Thomas. And I, too, have conversations with my cat, so I can totally feel you there.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, Tiffany, I have made you the presenter, and feel free to take it away.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I appreciate it. I wanted to welcome y'all to the Icon Integrate with Khan Academy. This is part 1, and this is just an overview of the website in a few informational, more of an informational webinar. Part 2 is more we dig deeper into Khan Academy. The objectives for today is 1, provide a brief introduction of Khan Academy, and 2, describe the content of Khan Academy and how the content aligns to the new adult education content standards. I'm going to give a few examples, and then give a brief overview of the Khan Academy website where we're going to do some practice. So I'm going to give you a review of the website, and then y'all are going to do some practice doing that. So know before we go, if you can, raise your virtual hand. That's your hand that's on the right of your name. How well do you know Khan Academy? If you think you're an expert on Khan Academy, like you're a 10, you mean that you know the ins and outs. Can you go ahead and raise your virtual hand, or you can send yes in the chat pod. So we're a little beginners, okay? How about if you're a level 5, like in the middle? Your virtual hand, okay? Krista, good. Just 1, okay? Go ahead and put your hands down. And then raise your virtual hand if this is the first time for you using Khan Academy. This is your first, like your introductory. So we're a little good. So we're all in the middle, or this is our first time. Well, I hope this webinar helps you for the introduction. Now, for those of you who are the introduction, like the intro, how are you going to use Khan Academy in your practice? I mean, how are you going to use it in your classroom? What do you think? Do you have some examples? Or for those who use it, how do you use it? Put your answers in the chat pod. Now, an example how I use it in my classroom when I had for students in the TSI test, or we do the math boot camps on the weekends, I had the students, we did the pre-algebra section of the Khan Academy, and I would put the practice problems up on the board, and then we would do them together. Or you can also, a good thing, we're going to talk about this next week, is that you can assign problems to the students, and then while you're doing the like a supplement into your classroom, and then you can monitor it from your computer and see what problems that are most missed. Okay? It is a very good resource for supplement. To career offices. Okay, good. There is a section, Diego, of Khan Academy that there is a college, careers, and more, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Now, what is Khan Academy? It's a free world-class education for anyone and anywhere. Khan Academy's learning philosophy is you only have to know one thing, is you can learn anything. Most people are held back not by their innate ability, but by their mindset. They think intelligence is fixed, but it isn't. Your brain is like a muscle. The more you use it, the more it grows. We tell students the more you practice, the more you learn it. And then I tell people, just exactly like the plant on my desk, the more I water it, the more it grows. If I don't water it, it'll die. So I hope the more you use it, practice, practice, practice always makes it. So what is Khan Academy? It offers practice exercises, instructional videos, and it can provide a personalized learning dashboard. Khan Academy empowers learners to study at their own pace in and outside of the classroom. It is a personalized learning resource for all ages. It's personalized learning because Khan Academy has a feature to where if you click on the content specific, it will ask you three things. It will ask you to explore the content, you can practice, or something that's called a mission. If the student chooses the mission, it will require a login by Google or your Facebook, or you can create an account. Then the student can complete the assessment lessons and it will save the data. And better yet, it's a free tool for students, parents, and then also teachers. It's available by website-based, or it's also a mobile app. So you can download the mobile app on an Android or an iOS, like an iPhone or iPad. The content of Khan Academy, it ranges from math all the way to college careers and more. In doing research on some of the subjects, what caught my eye was in the science and engineering, there's content for health and medicine. So if you have classes like CNA or LVN, and they're the IET classes, you could give them resources in that science and engineering, and they can click the health and medicine, and they can go in and review content and practice problems. There's even test prep for the SAT, the MCATs like medical school, or even helping the National Council licensing examination for registered nurses. So it has a lot in there. Now, as for the math, there's two ways that you can access just the math, okay? The first is math by subject. Now, the math by subject, it ranges from early math all the way to linear algebra. You can also choose math by grade level. Now, when math by grade level ranges from kindergarten through the 8th grade. Then you have something that's called Eureka Math or Engage New York, and this is done by the Department of Education in New York. It provides resources like lesson plans, worksheet activities, video library, and it provides professional development for educators and parents. And I'm going to go ahead and put a website in the chat pod, and that goes directly to the Engage New York. So that's a good resource for you. Khan Academy, they partner with Khan Academy to offer support for their teachers and students who use the program by providing the curriculum aligned with interactive practice and the videos. And then last on the math by grade level is that you have something that's called high school math. High school math is they break it up into subjects like Math 1, Math 2, and Math 3. And then you have algebra, high school geometry, algebra 2, and then it goes up to trigonometry and pre-calculus. Here's a screenshot of the subjects listed in Khan Academy that I just discussed. And I'll show you later this screen, but once you go into khanacademy.org, you can click the subjects, and then it will drop down all the subjects that are listed. Now, the one that I was talking about is the pre-algebra area under the math by subject. This is the one that you can give to your GED students as well as students that are going into practicing for like their TSI, the TSI math. Okay. Under the math by grade level, I talked about the Eureka Math and Engage New York. I gave you that link. That's there. And then here under science and engineering, We have the health and medicine. This is the health and medicine that has all the information for your CNA, your LVN, or even RN students. They want to review the content of systems. A good thing under the arts and humanities, there is an area called grammar. And grammar you could use with your HSE students as well as your ESL intermediate and advanced students, because they start from like what is a noun all the way up to advanced grammar. Okay. Here's the test prep that I talked about. And then if you go below the test prep, there is something, the college careers and more. And I wanted to put my little arrow on the personal finance. A new thing that it's on the content standards is something that's called financial literacy. In personal finance, we'll see in just a minute how it relates to some of the content in personal finance, how it relates to the content standards. Are there any questions so far? Questions?
Seeing no questions at this point.
Oh, okay. Great. Great. Okay, let's go on. So the next area I'm going to talk about is how Khan Academy can be content alignment. Khan Academy is aligned with the Common Core standards. However, if you dig into our new Texas AEL content standards, you can see there's similarity alignment with our standards as well. And I'm going to show you a few examples. The first example is you see on the left-hand side of your screen the Texas Adult Education Content Standards for Math, and then on the right you have your Khan Academy content. The one for math, there is under sub-area 2.1 in numerical representations and relationships. Part A, a student will need to recognize numbers in counting and develop an understanding of place value. And in sub-area 2.2, computations, part A through C, a student will need to know adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing. This addresses these two sub-areas specific standards and benchmarks. And in the Khan Academy content, you have, if you click math by subject and under that arithmetic, you have the areas the content covers: adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, negative numbers, fractions, and in decimals. And another example is the new area of a content standard named Sub-Area 2.8. It's the financial literacy. Khan Academy offers the names of this college careers and more. Under this subject area, you have an area called personal finance. And under the personal finance, it hits all the benchmarks under that financial literacy content standard, like saving and budgeting, interest and debt, housing expenses, car expenses, taxes, how to pay for college. It hits all of those benchmarks underneath the financial literacy content standard. Now, the next one is the last example is look at all the sub-areas of the math content standards that the pre-algebra of Khan Academy covers. The content covers one or more of the content standards and benchmarks, like sub-area 2.1 all the way to 2.7. And in the Khan Academy pre-algebra, you have arithmetic properties, factors and multiples, measurement, fractions and decimals, ratios, rates and proportions. It gets up to exponents, radicals, and scientific notation. Students have to learn this in order to pass the GED. It gives so much practice and instructional video. Little breather. And do you have any questions of the content standards and the content? How do you like it so far?
Raise your hand and we can unmute you.
Yes. There's only a few of us in here, so please, please. And if you always have a question, go ahead and send it in the chat pod. Now, next is making sure, how do you use Khan Academy? Now, I want to make sure that you know that Khan Academy is not on the approved distance learning curriculum list. We cannot use it for content hours. However, it can be used as a supplement to your instruction. For example, I had a 3-hour class. I would teach the group as a whole the first hour. The second hour, we practice using the Khan Academy. And then the third hour, I would answer questions the group had, or I would look at the missed questions of the assignments that I've given and then go over those questions or any questions the students had. It can be used as a supplement or homework purposes. Here are some of the resources for Khan Academy for teachers. These are just a few. When I signed up as a teacher, it went to my coach dashboard, and I did videos, and I'll show you this in just a minute, is that it gives some how-to guides. If you review some of the videos, it gives some how-to guides too, like in-class practice, how to use different differentiation and remediation, and then how to use it for homework. So it's a lot of reading. And Beth, in the chat pod, Beth she's going to provide those resources, the links of those resources for you.
Are you ready for me to do those now?
Yes.
Okay, and we did have a comment from Bobby that this is good information for busy teachers who don't have time to do a lot of research on sources to the benchmarks.
Yes, it is. It is. It is very good information. The one thing is I recommend that you, whatever you're teaching for that day, you research which one you're going to assign or go to, or have instructions. If you're going to just use it as practice and not have them log in, make sure you write the instructions down step by step. Now, if you're going to have them logged in, you can go ahead and assign them an assignment in Khan Academy with the lesson that you're doing for the day. But yes, it has a lot of resources. And Beth went ahead and provided you those how-to guides. There's the how-to guide for in-class practice, homework, and differentiation and remediation. And I'll show you where to get those. Okay. Thank you for that comment. I appreciate it. Okay. Now, if there's not any questions, we're going to go for a little tour of Khan Academy. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So here's my screen, and the website I put is www.khanacademy.org. Okay. Up here at the top, you see a navigation. The first thing I wanted to go over is how to get into the content itself. So there's 3 ways. The first one I showed you, you can click subjects, you can click this down arrow, and then all of the subjects come up. Okay? And then we talked about pre-algebra, and I'm just going to click on pre-algebra, and it'll load. And then you see here's all the content under pre-algebra. You have arithmetic properties, factors and multiples, reading, measurement, fractions, decimals, etc. Now there's 3 ways. You could explore, where you can just choose and go around, or you can click on practice, and you can just start practice from the beginning, and then you have the content on the left. Or there's also, students can click on the mission. Now with the mission, the students have to log in. So there's 3 ways to log in. They can continue with their Google, like they can connect their Google account, or they can connect their Facebook account, or they can create an account. So that's one way. Those are 3 ways that you can save your data. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the main page. Now, a second way you can get the subjects is in the middle of the screen. So you can click on the subjects in the middle, and then you see here, those are all the subjects with their content. Okay, that's the second way. And then a third way is that you can search for the skill. So if I'm going to search like rational numbers, or classify numbers rational and irrational, which is wonderful. Okay, I can click classify numbers rational and irrational, and here's the practice, here's the video, and it continues. Okay, you can do it by videos, articles, there's exercises, and there's no programs for this, but there's exercises, which are wonderful. Okay, so that's one way you can find the content. There's 3 ways. You can click subjects, down arrow, there's content. On the main page, when you get there, you can just practice without an account, just clicking in the place, or you can search. Okay, search for the subject or skill. That might be simpler. Okay. There are, up here at the navigation, you see donate. There's a login where you log in, or you can donate, because they are a nonprofit, and people donate to have this website. There's also, if you want to sign in, for teachers, you would click Teacher Start Here. You have your learners start there, which are your students. Teachers start here to log in, and you can connect your Google, your Facebook. You can sign up with an email, or if you already have an account, you can go ahead and, like I did, you can just sign in with there. Okay, so let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and sign in.
Tiffany, this is
Yes.
Beth. While you're signing in, we have a couple of comments that I'd like to share. Krista said, I appreciate how you showed the alignment to the content standards. Another great resource for teachers to make sure they are touching the standards.
Yes. I recommend, if you don't know your standards, really dig deep into those and know them. Right now, our program is going through each of the standards and aligning our curriculum to it. And then also we're adding more, like the distance learning sections of essential education to our alignment too.
And then we had a comment from Diego. This is great information. I'm listening in while driving. I'm not going to say anything about that. So I couldn't comment for feedback earlier. I think Khan Academy would be a good resource to share with some of our job seekers who want to improve their math skills after taking the TABE test.
Yes.
And then he has a question. Is there a place where we can find practice questions that match TABE 11-12?
Oh, well, I took the TABE 11 with the reading and the language. I'll show you those subjects in a minute. But the math I have not yet. But I would do the pre-algebra subject here, or there's also Algebra 1. Because I recommend pre-algebra area because it has everything you can think of, like place value, adding, subtracting. It does have factors and multiples, measurement, fractions. We are having a training to train of trainers, and I'll know more about the math test at the end of the month. And then I could go from there and make a document and send it out, or put it in the community of practice where it kind of relates to the 11 and 12.
Yes, Diego, they're doing TABE training of trainers across the state right now, and I haven't had a chance to go yet, but I believe that there's some resources that they share in that training that may address some practice questions. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll have more.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you take it away, Tiffany.
Okay. Oh, I wanted to show there is the section, let me show you, under our Arts and Humanities, there is a part about grammar. If you click the grammar part under Arts and Humanities, you see where you have Explore or Practice. Then you can start from the basics, but you have Introductory to Grammar, Parts of Speech, which you have noun, verbs, pronouns, modifiers. It goes all the way up to Usage and Style. This is really good if you have ESL Intermediate or ESL Advanced, and then also you're beginning the writing, if you're beginning your writing section, because they need to know parts of speech, always parts of speech, but that is. So for example, let me just do parts of speech for nouns. You'll see this is the lesson for introductory to nouns. Wherever you see a play button, that's the video. And then over here under practice, this is your practice, how to identify in like plural or singular. And when you click the practice, it'll ask some questions like, of the nouns in this sentence, which is singular and which is plural? Bertie clapped his hands and his butler appeared. So Bertie is a person, so that would be singular. Hands has that extra S, so that would be plural. And butler is just one, so that would be singular. Then I would click check, and ta-da! It'll give me some confetti, great work, and then keep it up for the next 7 problems. And you could also see a step-by-step solution of it. You can go to the lesson page, which is in the top right, or down here at the bottom, you can just keep on going to the next questions, okay? Like Erica carefully put the plants in the pots. So let's say I just got some of it wrong, okay? So I'm going to click check, and you see how it says not quite, it says try again, get help, or it does say skip for now. So if I just want to skip for now, I can just skip to the next question. I can get help, which it shows me how it is, and then also it shows me the video to get help. Okay. Everybody still doing okay? Do you have any questions? No? Okay. So I believe I signed in. I signed in with my account. And you see this is the main screen or the coach dashboard. And on the coach dashboard, you see my name. And the school, they didn't have my school, so I picked a school in my hometown in Burkburnett. And then you have some tabs like classes. This is where you find your class, the students, and then resources. And I want you to, if you click on resources, these are all the resources for teachers, students, parents, and more. Okay. The other thing under your main dashboard is under the Learn Classroom Procedures. This is where I found the videos. I completed 3 of them, but when you watched one of the videos, okay, it doesn't apply. On the bottom, it says download the handout. So there are handouts on each of the practices of those videos. Okay. Those are some good videos to watch. Okay. Now, let me go back into the webinar. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And here are some exercises for y'all to do. So here are some questions for y'all to do. So we're going to practice. So what I want you to do, okay, if you have a computer, go ahead and go to Khan Academy. And let me show you how to do this. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and sign out because we're going to practice without an account. So you're going to go to khanacademy.org, and under the Explorer, when you click the Math by Subject, you can click down here, or you can click up here, or you can click in the middle of the screen. Click the pre-algebra area where it says pre-algebra. Okay. Under arithmetic properties, here's your question. What types of numbers do they classify? Okay. It's like a search. You're going to search for the answer. When you find the answer, go ahead and put it in the chat pod. Okay? And I'm going to just look for, the question is, what types of numbers do they classify? Look at the title and find the word numbers. There's your hint. What types of numbers do they classify? Krista, did you get the answer? Yes, very good. Yes. Under there is practice that says rational and irrational numbers. This is classify numbers, irrational and rational. Very good. Okay, that's under the Explorer. Okay, so practice when you get to, let's do Math by Subject, pre-algebra. I'm going to go back. Okay, I'm going to go back to pre-algebra. Then you're going to click Factors and Multiples. Okay, Factors and Multiples. And what you're going to do is practice. Go to the greatest common factor. Greatest common factor. And then you're going to complete the practice. Under practice, here's greatest common factor. You're going to practice the questions. Go ahead and click practice and then complete the 7 questions. You can do it real quick and then just make sure you hit your check answer. In the chat pod, you can report your percentage. Make sure you click summary and report what your percentage is. I'll give you a few seconds for that, a few minutes for that. Has everybody got to this screen? Is there any questions?
Yep, we have a couple people with their hand up.
Okay.
Krista, I'll go first. Do you have a question?
No.
No? Okay.
She forgot to put her hand down. Okay.
All right. Irasima, do you have a question? I unmuted you if you have a question.
I guess not.
Move forward.
Okay. So has there anybody put a percentage in there? Did you get your...
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So when you click on practice, it'll ask you some questions.
I'm not hearing from anybody.
Okay. Now, here's some questions for you while you're doing your practice. If you got a problem correct, what did you see? While you're doing the practice, if you got a problem correct, what did you see? And then the next question is, if you got a problem incorrect, what did you see? Anybody want to share? Yes. You see stars and confetti and a pleasant sound. Ta-da! Yes. Stars, confetti, and a pleasant sound. And then what did you see if you got a problem incorrect? For those of you, do a practice here and do something that's incorrect. Okay? So if you got a problem that was incorrect, look at the bottom right-hand corner of the practice. You have not quite. Try again. Try again. Yes, Bobby. Yes, try again. Not quite try again. You can click the Get Help or you can click Move On. Okay. There's also something that says Stuck. You can watch a video or you can use a hint. Okay. So that's there for you. Now, the next thing I want you to do is you are going to sign up for an account for teachers. Okay? There are 3 ways, like I said. Let me get to the beginning. You can go ahead and go khanacademy.org. Okay? So there are 3 ways that you can sign up. Okay? You can click Login or you can click Sign Up. If you already have a login, you can click Login. If you need to sign up, you can click Sign Up, and then it will ask you if you are a learner, a teacher, or a parent. Okay? For you being a teacher, just click Teacher, and then you can continue with your Google account. You can connect it to your Facebook. You can sign up with an email, or if you already have an account, you can do that.
Tiffany, this is Beth. I have a question.
Yeah.
So, in order to see the teacher dashboard, do you have to sign up with an email, or does it work with all 3 ways of signing up? I guess is my question.
I signed in with the Google, and then you can go ahead and make a username and password. I signed in with my Google account with work is our Google, and then I just went ahead and made a login for myself. You can do that within the system in the settings.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. But if you need to sign up, like if you already have an account, I can go ahead and continue with my Google account, or I can make it my username. So I'm just going to type in my username and my password. I'll go ahead and continue using mine. Way. Now, when you log in, okay, here's your coach dashboard. When you make your account, it'll go to your coach dashboard. And then what 3 tabs do you see? You have classes, students, and then resources. Now, the question I wanted to ask you is, what date will the next drawing be? Can anybody answer that? On your dashboard, on your teacher dashboard, what date will the next drawing be? If you complete all the Khan Academy teacher trainings, you are able for a certificate, but then also you can... Trick is remembering. Yes, remembering the login. Yes, I understand. You can, if you complete all the Khan teacher trainings, you can sign. You can put your name in for the next drawing on which date. Do you see the date? Anybody? Right here. The next drawing is on June 30th. That's pretty good.
And Leanne had a couple other comments. She said, this looks like it could be pretty useful for my online tutoring sessions, direct hours, with my DL students. I'm pretty excited about this. I think the Aztec learning software teamed up with Khan for their advanced level material.
Oh.
That's pretty neat.
Wow, that is. Now, what did she say about the direct, when, missed that, was it? Oh, the drawing for. Yes, you can put your name in for a drawing with Khan Academy to go on a trip. To win a trip to the San Francisco Bay Area to Khan Academy offices. The comment about the direct hours with their DL students.
She said, this looks like it could be pretty useful for my online tutoring sessions, direct hours with my DL students.
Oh, yes, direct, yes, very. So required to have a minimum of 12, yes, in face-to-face. It is very useful. We have about 15 minutes, and I believe we're at the end. Do y'all have any questions over any of it? I wanted to show you, if you click on your name, like your profile, learning home, okay, that's your coach dashboard. To add your students, I think we're going to get into this next week. It's really simple. You can click students, and you can add those students, okay. Here's the click for the resources. But when you click on your name, there's the settings. You also have a coach dashboard, and there's also a learning home, which I still learn every day, and we never stop. So here's my learning home that I want to learn and the lessons that are there that I was interested. Now on your learning home, you have a profile. There's badges that you can earn, the progress of your learning home. There's discussion questions, projects, and then your coaches. Under coaches, you can add a coach, or if I'm looking for students, I just click your students, and you can be into other people's classes too. And so this is my class that I have. I know I only have one student, but here's I'll go over this like next week or dig a little deeper. So, and there's a navigation bar at the top. There's the content, assignments, how to add a class, etc. So we have about 10 minutes left. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Do y'all have any questions back or anything?
Again, you can raise your hand and I'll unmute you, or feel free to put something in the chat pod and make sure you send it to everyone.
Yes, please. Informational, very useful. Do you have a question? Your hand is up. Great, and thank you, Diego. It's great information. Pretty excited. This is the first thing I've come across that seems feasible and easy to incorporate into my DL class with my students. Yes, it is. But just remember that it's not an approved curriculum for distance learning. It is just supplemental, and you cannot collect content, class hours, like proxy hours. You cannot collect proxy hours. Yes, it's come a long way. You're welcome. You're welcome, Miss Bobby.
Yeah, this is Beth. I remember the old Khan Academy, and it was very much a teacher who set up a video camera in his class, and it was very different from this.
That's what we need for direct hours, yes. Yeah, this is easy to use. The one thing is that please, I would recommend you have your students go ahead and make an account and then add you as a coach. It would just make it easier to assign the assignments to your class or to your students. Practice navigating through the site and try to find questions that match the tape. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that is very... I have to practice, too, navigating through the site and get... that's the first thing that we do when we start working with technology. We have to practice first before we start getting good at it. Practice, practice, practice. Allows us to use similar, easy-to-use material without double dipping. I would have to be present with them online in order to count their hours. So I likely will have to figure out a different workaround. Now, when you're online with them, which learning management tool do you usually in? Khan Academy, you're able to connect it to one of the learning management tools is Google Classroom, and you are able to into the Google Classroom with the assignments. You can load your classes from Google Classroom, and then the assignments can be posted within the Google Classroom. Typically, we use Skype or Zoom to share screens. Oh, good. Glad you enjoyed the webinar. I appreciate it very much, and I hope you will join me next week for Khan Academy Part 2, where we learn all the ins and outs of the program. With Google Classrooms, is there a screen sharing feature that allows the teachers to present? Not in Google Classroom, but if you have Google Hangouts, Leanne, there is a shared feature that you can have many students on at once. You have to send them an invite, and then they can click on that invite to connect you with Google Hangouts. But yes, you're able to share your screen, and they are too. I appreciate it.
Go ahead and ask about the slides, and we will put them next week into the Tech and Tell community of practice.
Oh, okay. Google Hangouts. Yes, just Google it and it's going to find. Yes, I believe if you go to, I can do this real quick. Hold on, I think it's hangout.google. There is a part where you can go to hangouts.google.com if you do have a Google account. Let me share my screen. There it is. Hangouts.google.com. You can do a video call, phone call, you can message. All you have to do is just sign in. Or you could also do it from their from the email. You can download the app onto your phone, the Google Hangouts. Emails. I have a lot of emails, so bear with me. On the right of my email, these are all my Google Hangouts. And then I could click on, like this is my son, and in the chat area of the Google Hangouts, I can go ahead and I can video, or I can create a group, or you can use a phone call. It's simple and it's free to use if you have a Google Mail, a Google account. Oh, thank you, Diego. I appreciate it. And Beth did a really good job at moderating. And thank you, Deb, too.
Well, I just want to say thank you to Tiffany for doing such a very nice job today. This is just a wonderful resource, and I'll keep the room open for a few more minutes in case anybody else has a question. But thank you again, Tiffany, and please come back and join us for Part 2, which will be June 21st and 22nd. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Oh, great. Looking forward to seeing you, Leanne. Nice weekend, Deb.